anything that feels threatened. Unfortunately, it goes after the thing that threatens it the most.
What up? Story motherfucking time. So some time ago, I started telling you guys this story on TikTok. Story time. So some time ago, I started telling y'all about that one interesting charge nurse who kept putting patients in a room that clearly was making the patients have a very interesting mental reaction. Y'all remember? It was the room 22 phenomenon. And where we had last left off was there was a letter that was dropped off to me from someone from room 22. And when I came back to work to retrieve the letter, even though I wasn't actually planning on retrieving the letter because my grandmother told me to stay away from the letter, my charge nurse, the person that was actually there when I guess the letter was dropped off, told me that the letter disappeared. And when I inquired more, like, did you see the person that dropped off the letter? Did it say who it was from? She had no answers for me.
No, I just came up here and I saw it sitting on the desk and I was like, oh, that's nice. You know, I should give this to Ashley. I promise we're not trying to hide the letter from you.
Yeah, well, the letter's gone. Poof, vanished. Thin air. And so, as I've mentioned, my grandmother did say, stay away from the letter. Don't touch the letter. And she had given us an example of a time when she was in school back in her day and one of her jealous friends gifted her and a couple of their mutual friends some things for a graduation that she was unable to attend. And one of the friends, the only one of the friends that opened up the gift, went blind. So here we are, you know, and I remembered asking my grandmother, well, who do you think sent it? What do you think it has to do with? And this is some time had gone by. She was very adamant in me staying away from the letter. Don't inquire about the letter, leave it alone. Don't give whatever this is any energy, any attention, nothing. And her explanation was,
the way faith works is wherever you put it, that's where things will progress. That's how things are birthed. You have faith in the negativity, you have faith in the negative energy, the negative powers, and those things will flock to you. They will come to you. You are beckoning it. You need to put your faith in higher power, in positivity, light energy, light spirits, and that will flock to you. And yes, the lighter, more peaceful, more happier spirits, those do trump the negative ones. But you have to be careful. You give too much energy to the negative, it's going to be really hard to get yourself out of a situation that you should have never been messing around with in the first place.
so I asked her, what do you think dropped off the letter since nobody saw a person? And she explained to me that in a lot of these situations, whatever it is, whatever entity, whatever spiritual wickedness, whatever the intent was, if it is directed towards you, it will do its best to find you. It will seek you. It will search you. And if that ends up meaning that things appear and disappear in order to get your attention, in order to get you to focus on it, then that's what's going to happen. So she doesn't even necessarily believe that a person physically came and dropped off the letter. I asked her what that meant. Okay, so did the letter just appear?
Unfortunately, the way spiritual wickedness works, there isn't always an explanation. There isn't always a reasoning behind it. What sucks is that the person behind it just has to know what they're doing. However, they also have to understand that they are not the most powerful being, that there is a higher power, essentially.
And so her praying for me, her warning me against these things, her telling me, you know, which Psalms to read, what to do, what behavior to stay away from, the guidance, that is what inevitably sends back whatever that is from whence it came. It strips it of its power, essentially. And so I asked her, well, what I got to do with any of this? Why would I didn't want anything to do with room 22 in the first place. It wasn't even me who was educating people on room 22. It was my coworker who made me privy And so she said something incredibly profound.
Anything that feels threatened, unfortunately, it goes after the thing that threatens it the most.
In other words, if I happen to be, oh, you know what? The example that she gave me, you know, like her friend who felt threatened. She felt like she was being suppressed by the fact that all of her friends were doing better than her. Well, then she feels like she has to get those people out of the way. She feels like those people are the reason that she wasn't successful. So in other words, what she's saying is whatever this is, whatever that charge nurse's intention was, whatever was in that room, they saw a powerful spirit within me. They saw something in me that threatened their abilities, that threatened their plans, whatever it is it was setting out to do. And I'm like, well, what about homegirl? Homegirl that came onto the unit looking like all things spiritual, all things powerful, you know, like a healer, energy, power. During that same night, there was another patient that was being wheeled up to the floor. And this patient, she just looked like she was all things energy. And I remembered explaining her whole appearance, her aura, her vibe. She just, you know, she had her head wrap, she had dreads, she had the body jewelry. She just emanated healer and someone who's very familiar with crystals and the universe, okay? That's the best I got for y'all. So she called the charge nurse out on whatever it was that was going on. Whatever that was that nobody was really openly discussing, she came onto the floor and just immediately was like to the charge nurse,
I don't like you, and I don't like what you're doing. We don't know what's going on with her. We don't know if she got the same note that was dropped off at her door. We don't know. We don't need to seek answers for that either. And truth be told, homegirl probably already knows what to do to protect herself. Especially if she was so intent and so immediate to say, I don't like you. I know what you're doing, and I don't like it.
And sometimes when things like that happen, whatever the wicked intent is sees that it is being overpowered, unfortunately, or not unfortunately, fortunately, it has to disperse. It has to remove itself from an area in which it cannot thrive. Hence the reason why we've never heard from homegirl charge nurse ever again. Resignation placed immediately. So, my grandmother is a real G. The main one out here in these streets, conquering things, all wicked things. So she's cool. I like her. I actually love her a lot. So there is that. That being said, that was such a long time ago, and she also agreed to contribute more pieces of information, more pieces of guidance for me to share with you guys, for us. So there will be more coming from my grandmother. In the meantime, make sure you comment, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe, share your own story, share moments that you've experienced something strange where someone that was significantly more knowledgeable, more spiritual, guided you in the right direction. I want to hear all of it. Tell me all of it. And while you're at it, check me out on Amazon. Click my Linktree link in the caption there and take a look at all the good things I got going on. Yeah, thank you for joining. So more time goes by and it's time for me to go into work again. And I, in my mind, am thinking, do not send me to this unit. And I'm going to make it abundantly clear, if y'all send me to this unit with that room, I'm going home. I done received enough warnings. I am not the kind of person that is hard-headed. I don't need to learn the hard way. I don't want anything to do with it. If you send me to that unit to work with that room, I'm going home. I'm going home. I might go to my grandmother's. Shit, Dr. Mushrooms.